Hello there, this is Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and this is just a quick look at a Commodore 64 Model C which I have repaired, and the disk drive and the fun I've been having with the disk drive. This is another one that I've just dug out of the attic. It actually was in a box with a few other bits, Commodore bits, with not working on the box and not working on just about everything in the box. I think it was given to me quite a few years ago, just as a box of broken Commodore bits. Anyway, I thought someone gave me a big box of Commodore 64 discs, and I thought I'd have a go at getting one of these going and see if we get the disk drive going for it, and see if the discs are still any good and what's on them. So anyway, I dug it out and I connected it up, switched on, and absolutely nothing. I'm getting voltage out the PSU correct, 9V AC and 5V DC, all that was fine. And yeah, there wasn't even anything coming on the power LED, so I did a couple of checks inside and it was pretty obvious fairly soon what was wrong, and that was I wasn't getting any continuity through the switch there. Now, I've seen someone on YouTube actually take one of them switches, disassemble it, clean all the gunk out of it, re-lubricate it all, put it all back together and get it all working, which is great. I mean, one day these switches are going to be unavailable, and being able to do that is absolutely fantastic. I might actually keep this one and have a go at it myself, but I had a few replacement switches in my stores, so I just put a new switch in for now. Like I said, I might keep that and actually watch that YouTube vid again and have a go at actually rebuilding that, see if I can get it working properly again. I don't know. Might be something to do when I've got a spare few minutes. Anyway, so I switched it on after that, and I was then getting power to the board. LED came on, but I was just getting the black screen. So you switch on, there'd be a bit of a flash on the screen, and you just get a black screen. So out with the old oscilloscope, and I had a probe round on the processor looking for a clock signal, and I couldn't find a clock signal. There was no clock signal to be found actually anywhere on the board. And I went straight for the first culprit really, which was, let's turn that around so you can see it, that there. Now that, if I focus in on it, come on focus, there we go, that's a Commodore branded one, but it's a MOS 8701 clock generator IC, and that one's dead. Fortunately, I had a couple of them in my spare stock, so I shoved a new one of them in and powered up. We can see light on there, and look. Now that brought the Commodore back to life. So I actually think the switch probably has just died of being in my attic for probably nearly 20 years. I think why the computer actually was retired in the first place and sold as not working was because of that. But anyway, that is powering up and working quite nicely now. Unfortunately, I couldn't say the same for the disk drive. It came with, let's put that there, that which is a Commodore 1541 Mark II disk drive, which was actually styled to suit the C64c and the Commodore 128. It's quite a nice disk drive really. Unfortunately, this one has got the classic faulty lights. You switch, let's just put that down so I don't damage anything, there we go. You switch it on and the power and drive light both come on and stay on. What should happen is you power it up, the power light should come on, the driver light should flash on, do a self-test like, and then go out, and it's just staying on all the time. Now they say that the usual suspects for that are either the ROM or the processor in these, because basically these disk drives on the Commodores have pretty much a Commodore 64 inside them. They're an intelligent drive that does all the reading, and it actually passes the data via serial into the C64. And it's the same processor as in a C64. I've desoldered the processor, I put a socket in its place, and I've tried a replacement, still the same. The other common fault with these is the ROM fails. So I got an EEPROM and I burnt a replacement ROM for it. I've tried that and it's still dead. I'm not going to give up on it. It may be a Logic IC or something like that's gone, but I'm a bit strapped for time at the moment, so that'll go back in the box for another project for another day. But while I was on eBay, as you do, I spotted this. Now, I'd never seen them before. All the C64 drives I've ever seen in the past are like the one I've just shown you, are the earlier generations of made by Commodore. Now this is a third-party Commodore 64 5¼ inch disk drive. And if we look, this is the Accelerator Plus. Now it cost me under 20 quid delivered this. The guy that I bought it off said it was in full working order, but the only problem was he didn't have a power supply for this one. It was sold just as the drive, no supply and no cables. And I thought that shouldn't be a major issue. He seemed to think it used a Commodore 64 or a Commodore 1541 Mark II power supply. So I bought it and I got it, and as where it uses 12 volts and 5 volts like the old C64s, it's not quite the same connector. This uses a 5-pin DIN connector, and the old Commodore disk drives, it's a bit of a different connector. The voltages are right, but that's actually the connector off an old Commodore power supply, and it doesn't actually physically fit this drive. So what I did is I chopped that off. A spare. I've got a lot of old Commodore power supplies from various Commodore computers, so I found one that gave out the right 12 and 5 volts. I cut that off and I wired a standard 5-pin DIN on the end that fits in the back of this disk drive, and it works fine. I mean, let's switch it on now. You can see it fires up. Instead of having the two lights on this, it just has one, so it comes on red initially and then it just goes green to show you that the drive's on. When it's reading and writing, it turns red. It uses a standard Commodore serial lead 5-pin excuse me, 5-pin serial lead to connect it up to the Commodore. And yeah, it's a nice little small drive. It's a lot smaller than the Commodore drives, and it's actually metal rather than the plastic of the Commodore ones. Anyway, I've got a massive stack of old Commodore discs. Look at this. Someone gave me these years ago. That's a tenth of what I've got. I've probably got a couple of hundred. I haven't got a clue what's on them, so I thought I would spend some time going through all these discs, and I'll just show you one. If you've never seen a Commodore loading off disc before, I thought I'll just show you now. What have we got on here? It says Powerball, but I don't know whether that's what's on the disc anyway. Let's see what happens if I put it in the drive. I haven't actually tried this one before, so it might even read at all. We'll just find out now. So we open the drive, and these are, I'll just say now, it's a single-sided, single-head drive this, so the discs can be put in that way, or you can flip them over and use the other side. And some of the discs I can see, you can see it's got two Write Protect tabs on it. Some of them were standard double-sided, double-density discs for PC discs, and someone's took a hole punch and actually used a hole punch to punch out the other tab there, which, yeah, it was something you used to see back in the day. Anyway, let's stick that in the drive. There we go. And now, to load a disc on the C64, what we type is load, so it's L-O-A-D. There we go, we've got load. In fact, I'll hold it on the screen there. Then what we need is quotation mark, star. Star means it's going to just load the first file it comes to on the disk. Then we need another quotation mark. Then we need to tell it which drive it is. Now this is drive, the setup is like the default, which is drive 8. So what we type is comma, and then we tell it which drive to go to, which is 8, and press enter. And if we look, there we go. It's reading, loading, and ready. So if we've got a ready prompt, we better see if anything will run. So looking at some of the other discs I've got on here, some of them have actually got some menu system someone's written in BASIC to run the software, so I'm guessing this is the same. So let's have a look here now. We type run and press enter. Yeah, it's got the same menu system as the other ones. Right, let's just see if something will load. I'll just load whatever's on the first one. As we can see, the drive's chugging away. I will say these Commodore drives are very, very slow compared with some of my other vintage computers. My Amstrad CPC 6128 and my Sinclair Spectrum Plus 3, they load software off disk incredibly quick compared with this thing. Right, I think we've got something loading now. The expert try logic and then phone number. I wonder if that's who. I don't know if it's going to crash there or not. It doesn't seem to be doing it. Oh, hang on, something's happening. Is it going to work? Oh look, there we go. Yeah, so that's loaded off that disk. I suppose I must just say it's a damn sight quicker than tape, but I do have other vintage computers and the disk drives are considerably quicker than this. But like I said, hey ho, it's something I'm going to play with anyway. I may look for an SD card solution for one of these C64s, but for the time being, like I said, I've got a couple of hundred of discs to get through. I got my joystick plugged in. Nice joystick, by the way. I picked that up at the weekend at a car boot sale. It's a proper nice, it's a cheetah, proper micro switch joystick that, and it cost me 50p. Yeah, I was really pleased with that at the weekend. It was the only decent thing I actually got, but yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. I've waffled on far too much now, but yeah, I'm glad you like that 64. I'm going to clean it up, obviously. I'll get this not working sticker off now, and I'm going to try and build a classic computer room. My attic at the moment is just full of junk and rubbish. I'm going to clear all the rubbish out of there. Perhaps put some better lighting in there, put some benches around it, and actually have some of my vintage computers set up permanently so I can actually play with them and work with them, rather than just setting them up one at a time, either on my office desk or here on my workbench. Hopefully that's coming in the future when I get some time anyway. Okay, I'll leave it there for now, so thanks for watching, and goodbye.